What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back with the boxing clinic, and you know, early morning boxing grind. You know how we do, and Gary Russell did a interview, I believe, with Ben Thompson over at Fight Hype. I'm gonna link the interview in the description, and I'm gonna speak on what he was talking on for the most part. Just the main important part. He feels that he's one of the most avoided fighters in the world, and in fact, he's correct. And you gotta feel his frustration. A lot of people say he's inactive, and I don't think that's his fault that he's inactive. He got a guy that he shares a manager and advisor with in Leo Santa Cruz, who I'm gonna speak on a little bit later. He says he wants he just want to unify. That's all he wants to do is unify belts, and of course, that may not happen. You got promotional issues. You got, some of the most scariest people in boxing in that division, which I'm gonna speak on in a hot second. He's supposed to face Joseph Diaz next. To speak on that fight, he gonna catch a body, man. Diaz is not ready. Or maybe he might shock me. But I think he's going to, put Diaz in the body bag and keep it moving. And for Diaz's sake, he better hope it's a learning experience and it's not a career-changing experience in the wrong way. And I'm going to just keep it at that. I don't know where they stand on about that, though. But, he said to all the fans that, you must do at least one mandatory per year. And he did one in May, and then he got to do it with Joseph Diaz by next May. And he is one of those guys that's one of the most inactive champions, out there, and, whatever reason that is, if it's Al Haymon can't get him dates, or if it's, whatever reason, if it's his hands, because he got bad hands as well, that could be the issue. But, he says he going to, hold that belt to as long as he want to hold it. He was speaking on moving up to 130 because he was frustrated about not being able to get the other champions in the ring. And I was talking about him potentially fighting Tank Davis in a Baltimore DC matchup that'd have been lucrative for him. Or maybe I don't know if they thought that far, but maybe they want Tank to get a little bit bigger and Gary to get a little bit bigger before they even potentially start speaking on that. But it sounds like he said he's the gatekeeper of that WBC belt. He says anybody that, want to get that belt got to go through him. And he said those guys are scared to go down his block. And he says, these managers, promoters, these fighters, they all really scared. They don't want to risk their livelihood versus him. And a lot of people didn't like the video, but it was facts. A lot of people, can't fathom their heroes who I'm going to speak on in a minute, or the guys they look up to, or the guys they root for. They can't fathom these guys ducking, But Gary Russell's been behind the scenes. He's tried to make fights with most of these champions, the guys that were champions in the division, to make the big fights happen. And he knows their team doesn't want to fight him. And a lot of people say, well, Lomachenko beat him. Okay, Lomachenko did beat him. That was his first step-up fight. Lomachenko had fought Orlando Salido and gained more experience in that fight than the first 20 fights of Gary Russell's career. At least at that point in Gary Russell's career, when he was moving up and fighting subpar competition, he actually was active, But he said he was a little, he wasn't himself that fight for the Lomachenko fight. And people just act like Lomachenko just obliterated him. It was a split decision, even though it should have been a unanimous decision. But it wasn't like Lomachenko destroyed him or permanently damaged him for his career. In fact, he got better after the Vasily Lomachenko fight. And people just, for whatever reason, people just tend to hate most of these new American fighters. The one that just gets the most love, damn near universally is Terrence Crawford. He get a lot of love. But other than that, man, a lot of these American fighters, they get nothing but, it's more hate than love. It's more people rooting against them than rooting for them. It's more American fighters rooting for the European invasion, the UK invasion, the Mexican, invasion, whatever you want to say. it's more people rooting for the foreigners than it's rooting for the actual American boxers in America, you know, and that's facts right there. But the guys who he's talking about who's scared, you know, he requested to fight Leo Santa Cruz. But Leo Santa Cruz, you know, according to him, his team won't let him even fight Rigondeaux. I mean, he has 3 of the most scariest guys, you know, 4 or 5 of the most scariest guys in his division, to be honest. I think Scott Quigg is at featherweight now. He was scared to fight Rigondeaux. Leo Santa Cruz is scared to fight anybody, you know, for the most part. You know, he struggled with, you know, part-time boxers on, you know, pay-per-view cards and taking up so much time. Abner Mares is Doug Rigondeaux as well. Carl Frampton, Doug Rigondeaux as well. And you think these guys are Doug Rigondeaux, who was a weight class south of them by 4 pounds and 122 pounds. You think they're not ducking Gary Russell? They don't want to give Gary Russell that opportunity. Oscar Valdez, that's a promotional thing. But I can't speak on him because we know Al and Bob ain't mixing right now. But for the most part, man, those guys, I know for a fact that they don't want to fight Gary Russell. You don't hear Carl Frampton, Mares, and none of those guys speak on Gary Russell's name. Like, I want to go for the WBC belt. And that's the green belt is the Mexican belt. That's the true green Mexican belt. You know what I mean? And these guys don't even want to even speak on fighting for that belt because Gary Russell holds that belt and they know what would happen to him. And a lot of people don't want to hear the truth about it, but all those guys are ducked. They all ran up from weight class from Rigondeaux. You know? And you think they want to fight Gary Russell? Absolutely not. They're ducking Gary Russell. They freezing him out, and he got to get it how he live now. At least Joseph Diaz is going to be man enough to take on a challenge as a mandatory. You don't see none of those guys trying to move up and become the mandatory for Gary Russell. They don't have a belt like Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg, or Abner Mares. You don't see that. But we know why it is.